Okay, hey everyone, welcome to another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. A really cool strap showcase for you guys from the brand MONTREUX. A little bit about them. They are an enthusiast-founded brand with a goal to bring premium wristwatch straps and accessories to everyone at an affordable price point without sacrificing on quality, wearability, durability, and experience. And they're known thus far for their ultra-comfortable and thin-profiled premium FKM rubber straps. They've now expanded to offer leather strap options as well, and this is part of that release of French Epsom leather straps. These go for $45 each, and they do offer free shipping within the USA, as well as free international shipping on orders over $70. So these are constructed out of premium French Epsom leather, made of leather provided from the Haas tanneries that are essentially a respected tannery located in northeast France since 1842. These super slim and pliable premium leather straps are specifically engineered for active lifestyles, focusing on wear, durability, and aesthetics with no break-in period. And I do have them both here to show you, and they actually do have other color variations as well. Interestingly enough, there's two other blue colors, essentially a lighter and a darker blue, but I opted to check out the black and the brown. So huge shout out to MONTREUX for sending these straps in for me to share with you all. And of course, the two watches that I decided to have them mounted on are going to be the Khaki Field Murph and the Hanhart Pioneer Preventor HD12. These are extremely well-matched watches, and they do share a very similar aesthetic. And I know some of you are probably thinking, oh, it looks like Hanhart, came and kind of took a good idea from Hamilton. I will say, if you look back, this dial design and even the handset has been really iconic for Hanhart for a number of years in some fashion, whether it be on their very famous chronographs or other watches. So I will say, similar to something like a Flieger watch or a Field watch, while one brand might be more mainstream and known for a certain design, it doesn't mean that they necessarily own it. So I thought, hey, why not get these laid next to each other? I love the fact that with the brown versus the black, you can really kind of see some differences for strap pairings, right? So one has a little bit more of a creamy type of, faux Tina, and the other has a nice, clean, white, crisp one. So it gives you different options, something a little cooler and colder with the monochromatic style, or something a little bit warmer with a bit more of just a lived-in vibe. So with all that said, let's go ahead, zoom the camera out, get these pieces in hand, and take a closer look. Okay, guys, so if you haven't checked out these MONTREUX straps before from their previous lines, they still carry over the same box with a little slightly magnetized flap here. And, very nice in terms of the interior, and you can see big on their MONTREUX branding. But I did want to just give you guys an idea if you haven't purchased from them before. It is a very nice little box that honestly works great for storage. It's not one that you feel like is something you want to throw away. It definitely feels like a premium product. I think they've definitely taken a bit of a note from, certain things like Apple products, right? Where there's a bit of an experience as you open it, and things just feel quite deliberate and thought out. So shout out to MONTREUX again for sending these straps in. And check it out. So I might be one of the first channels to actually have these two watches side by side in the metal. Of course they do compare very well, but this is not a watch review or a watch comparison. This is just maybe a little sneak preview. If you are interested in me putting together a head-to-head comparo, definitely let me know down in the comments below. But right now we're going to be talking about these straps. So let's go ahead and start out with this beautiful brown tone. And this is one of the things I really love about this, is that it is quite dark, but it just fits perfectly with this type of dial. So if you do have anything that does, in terms of, ooh, a little dust on the crystal there. If you do have any watches, of course, that are going to have a bit of, patina or gilt or anything in terms of just that type of vintage aesthetic. The nice thing is this brown isn't super overly specific in terms of feeling like something that is very vintage looking. It doesn't have any special stitching, but this Epsom leather just gives it such a great and versatile, and also I would say upscale aesthetic. Like, look at how nice that is. It's thin without being overly thin. It definitely still feels very sturdy. Nicely signed on the underside. You do also get quick release spring bars, and this does taper down to about 18 millimeters, so 20 millimeters down to 18, which isn't overly tapered. And sometimes that can be a bit specific, right? If you have it and it tapers down to, like, let's say 16, that's definitely going to be more of a vintage vibe. I like the versatility that you're going to get here with just that more mild 2 millimeter taper, but I'm glad that it does taper. And on the buckle end, you can see this is a fully milled buckle, nicely signed, and even the finger here on the pin buckle is milled, which is nice and definitely well appreciated. The Montreux branding, I think, looks very, very nice. You have one fixed keeper, one sliding keeper, and you have very clean stitching throughout. And again, with this option for the brown, it just gives you a bit of a warmer tone. Still very versatile, but, you know, I'd say definitely more well suited for earthy tones, you know, from a fashion standpoint, in terms of what you're going to wear and pair this with. You got some brown boots, brown belt, something like this definitely is going to flow very, very well. So very nice, very clean. And again, the strap is very versatile in terms of the fact that, yeah, it's not specific, right? Like, it doesn't need to be on a dress watch, on a sports watch. I like that it kind of has a bit of both in terms of that. So very versatile. And this watch is very versatile as well, because it can be a little bit dressed up and a little bit dressed down. So I do like the casual kind of brown hues that you're going to be getting here. And it definitely plays off of this nice dial. Now, when we get to the other side of the coin here, definitely more crisp, more bright. And I love this. Of course, this is something that I wanted from the Hamilton originally. Is like, oh, I wish they would have done a cleaner version with a screw down crown, additional water. Like, basically, they did everything that you could have asked for. You even got hardened steel here. So this is definitely a more sporty feel and vibe, and, you know, maybe even a more contemporary take, because it does feel newer and crisper. Although you can see they do have the vintage Hanhart logo, which I think looks great. It even is on the backside as well. So there's definitely a nod to history, but with this beautiful strap, again, it's really nice. It has that French Epsom leather, which is really, I'd say, a hot choice of leather right now. Whether it be watch rolls or straps themselves, I definitely have explored the costs of different Epsom leather straps, and they can be quite expensive. I mean, normally a good deal for an Epsom leather strap is like $80, and like, that is a nice price for Epsom leather. So the fact that these are coming in at $45 is pretty strong, I think. In terms of the thickness on here, 2.2 millimeters. So again, nice and thin and pliable. No need to break in. And then they do have a nice length of 75 on one end and then 125 on the other. So pretty standard length. Typically, you'll find stuff with a 80, 120 type of setup and combination, but with the 75 and 125, you're getting essentially the same length, with just maybe a little bit more buckle on this end tucked in at the end of the day. So I really like that semi-matte finish that you're going to be getting here, and this is available in 4 color options: black as seen, dark brown as seen. There's also a navy blue and an aqua blue. So I like that they started out with very usable colors. I'm sure, eventually they might release more, like an ox blood would be very nice as well. But I think they have the core really taken care of, right? Like, something like this looks outstanding. And I do have this typically on a bracelet. The full review of this watch is coming soon because it was just recently released. But I do enjoy this watch on a strap as well. And I think, again, it just goes to show the versatility of a watch like this, in that, you put it on a bracelet, it feels more like an Explorer watch. And then you put it on a strap, and all of a sudden it has kind of more of that general field vibe, or pilot's vibe as well, because it does have, of course, some nice bold numerals. So really nice, guys. And if I was to kind of summarize again, this is not meant to be a head-to-head, but I know there's going to be some, some viewers that are going to appreciate seeing these two together right next to each other in the metal. Actually, you know what? Why don't we get them on wrists? So I'll get the Hanhart. It's funny, they're both H's, Hanhart and Hamilton. So we'll get one on here. And I do have 7.5-inch wrists just for reference, guys. And this looks, look at that. So very, very nice, very clean, classic. It flows, almost looks like it could have been, a strap that came with this watch. It has definitely a clean OEM vibe. And for those of course, I'm left-handed, so I typically don't wear my watches on my left wrist, but I know some of you, many of you, the majority of folks are right-handed, so you're going to typically wear your watch on this wrist. So some of you can rejoice finally getting a one-to-one shot of this watch on the wrist that you wear your watches on. So you guys can see, very, very nice, very clean. Looks great. I mean, again, very close, very similar, but I think different enough, right? Like, in terms of just the colors, the way that they're going to go and bounce off of whatever your attire is. I think definitely you can get something that feels a little bit more sporty with something like a black strap, and then a little bit more just general kind of casual but dressy, right? Like, this is totally fine for button down shirts, versus here, although still versatile enough for something a little dressier, this also feels like it'd be fine with a t-shirt, and maybe vice versa, depending on your color palette or style. I don't get too much into fashion on here, but some people see watches as straight up just fashion accessories. So it's worth noting, of course, that these are extremely versatile watches on extremely versatile watch straps, and it's nice to see them next to each other and really highlighted by a watch that sets off some of that color play. So very, very nice, guys. So if I was to get into closing thoughts here, I really love Epsom leather, for its refined texture. I love that it adds an upscale aesthetic, whenever it's used. And again, I normally consider, an $80 strap that's using Epsom leather as a good deal. There's definitely some Epsom leather straps that are going to cost a lot more, and you might find some that may cost less. But from a brand, again, these are not just products that are in a vacuum. Like the MONTREUX brand, I love that they're big on value, that they're big on thinness and wearability. They believe that watches should be worn and enjoyed, right? And these straps really tie into that. Of course, the FKM rubber straps are going to be way more robust from that perspective, right? And I think those strap options would actually look great on these watches as well. But when you come to something like this definitely gives you a nice duality in terms of the aesthetic and play you can do. Of course, with the two other blues, you can take it into even sportier range, or even, I think, quite dressy with the, the navy blue, strap option as well. So, yeah, it's great to see these priced, close to about half of what I would consider, right? Like $80 is a good deal. $45, I mean, that's pretty awesome. So, and again, while $45 isn't unfathomably cheap by any means, considering the quality and the materials, I think it surely can be considered beyond just, high value, and easily slots into kind of bargain territory. Like, these are bargain Epsom straps. Like, it is a deal for you to be able to get these at $45. And if you guys know of other brands that are, offering Epsom leather like this with a great design, very clean, nice, semi-premium unboxing experience, or you could even say premium depending on, what your experience is with different watch straps, I'm impressed. So from you guys, bottom line, I really liked Montreux's slim FKM rubber straps, and I really didn't see the need for them to really, like break out into the space of leather straps, right? And other materials or genres of straps. But I'm really glad that they did, because, I think these make a really great dressy stablemate to those sportier FKM straps. Like, these are awesome and I think justify their existence. Like, this isn't a replacement for those FKM straps if you already got some. This is just another option, and these can go on different watches or whatever, but I think these are really cool. And again, I loved being able to share this with you guys, showcasing the brown versus the black, the cool and contemporary versus that more vintage tone aesthetic. And I know not everybody's crazy about Fotina, but I will say that it has its place, and this is a perfect example of that, right? With this brown strap, it just kind of opens up a different door in terms of your attire and what you're going to be wearing. And you might like this type of watch, and having something like that is just going to help it flow better. Or on the other side, right, having something like this might be a little bit more versatile in terms of your typical color palette of style and fashion of what you wear, right? If you're not too into earthy tones, something like this is going to be infinitely more wearable. So with that said, let me know what you guys all think down in the comments below. If you like the video, please do it like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.